lucky I'm even sitting here entertaining you.
Do you hear yourself?
Stop it.
Look how you look as a mother. Don't touch me.
Jackie Christie walked into the dinner with a strong sense of purpose, unaware that this evening would become one of the toughest challenges she would face all season. She had high hopes for the night, thinking she could smooth over any rough edges and keep things civil. As she took her seat at the head of the table, she exuded confidence, ready to steer the conversation in the right direction. Her voice was calm and steady, and she made a point of offering sincere compliments to everyone around her, attempting to create a light-hearted atmosphere. She hoped these small gestures would ease any tension in the room, allowing the group to relax and enjoy the evening without any drama. But despite her best efforts, something felt off. The mood in the room was far from what Jackie had envisioned. Even though she tried her best to lead the conversation with grace and composure, there was an unmistakable heaviness in the air. It was as if everyone was holding back their true thoughts and feelings, unwilling to fully open up or engage. Jackie's calm demeanor and attempts at humor couldn't cut through the underlying tension. The atmosphere was thick with unspoken words, and Jackie could feel it. It wasn't just about the dinner itself. It was about everything that had been building up over time, and it was all coming to a head now. Even though the conversation flowed on the surface, there was a lingering sense that something more serious was about to happen. The unsettling quiet of the evening was a stark contrast to the lively gatherings Jackie was used to. She had hoped for peace and harmony, but the room's energy told a different story. She couldn't shake the feeling that this dinner wasn't going to end the way she expected. In fact, it was just the beginning of what would turn into a difficult and emotional journey for Jackie. She was about to realize that no amount of kindness or calmness could hold back the storm that was brewing just beneath the surface. What seemed like a simple dinner would soon become the catalyst for an entirely new set of challenges, ones that would test her strength and ability to navigate the complicated relationships in her life.
My level.
I'm a crack addict because I'm small and you try to get lipo every time you look like me. Okay,
to come out.
You're right, but you better keep your ass in that seat tramp. That's what you better do. You're right, Dumbo ears. Yeah, I got a lot of husbands about these ears, bitch. Get a husband. That 48-year-old been working, bitch. You right.
Retire.
It did not take long for things to unfold, and you could clearly see that the women were not convinced. Jackie tried to step in and calm everyone by asking them to have a grown-up conversation and leave the drama behind. However, her attempt to be the peacemaker completely missed the mark. The mood in the room shifted quickly when Evelyn, who had already clashed with Jackie earlier in the season, cut through the chatter and boldly said, "You are trying to give advice, but you have your own mess." That comment landed hard. Jackie's whole posture changed immediately. She went silent. Her usual bright smile disappeared, and the woman known for always firing back had no words this time. Evelyn kept pushing, pointing out how Jackie often involved herself in others' problems without fixing her own family issues. Evelyn's jab about Jackie's daughter, whom Jackie claimed she invited with good intentions, was clear. This was not just about parenting anymore. Even though it was supposed to be a dinner, Jackie had clearly become the main dish, and she stayed silent while everyone watched her squirm in the spotlight. Instead of stepping in with her usual quick-witted responses, Jackie just sat there blinking, her eyes wide as the situation continued to spiral. She remained silent, taking in the words that were being thrown her way. Her attempts to stay composed were no longer working, and she couldn't deny the discomfort that was filling the room. This wasn't just harmless teasing anymore. What had started as a series of lighthearted jabs had transformed into something much more personal, something much deeper. Jackie had always prided herself on her ability to handle tough situations with grace, but this time, the words hit harder than expected. She tried to dismiss the growing tension, hoping it would dissipate on its own, but the comments kept coming, and they were becoming increasingly hurtful. In an effort to regain control of the situation, Jackie attempted to lighten the mood with a toast, hoping to reset the evening and bring back some sense of peace. She raised her glass, trying to keep her voice steady and her tone warm, but as she looked around the table, she could sense that the air was still thick with tension. It was clear that this wasn't going to be a simple dinner anymore. As if, on cue, the door opened, and in walked Chantel. Jackie had known her daughter was coming, but the timing couldn't have been worse. Chantel entered the room with a composure that immediately caught everyone's attention, but her demeanor was far from the warm greeting Jackie had hoped for. Instead of a cheerful arrival or a simple hello, Chantel's presence in the room felt like a seismic shift. Jackie's face instantly betrayed her shock and unease. It wasn't just the sight of her daughter that took Jackie by surprise. It was the way Chantel entered, like she was walking into a battlefield rather than a family dinner. Jackie had expected this moment to be one of reconciliation, or at least a step towards mending their strained relationship, but what she wasn't prepared for was the storm that Chantel's arrival would stir up. She had hoped for peace, but instead, she found herself at the center of a much deeper conflict. At the exact exact moment when everyone was judging her home life and doubting her parenting, Shantel entered, not with a cheerful smile or a casual hello, but with a serious, almost heavy expression. The silence around the table grew louder as she calmly pulled out a chair and sat down. The women exchanged glances and soft whispers, already sensing that this would not end well. Jackie tried to stay composed, but her eyes gave away that she was bracing for something big, and she was right. Without hesitation, Chantel sat down and immediately started telling everyone about a fierce argument she had with Jackie, wasting no time at all.
Hello. It was rude of me. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Chantel. I'm Jackie's daughter. Nice to meet you. I'm Chantel, Jackie's daughter. Nice to meet you.
Everyone sat frozen when Chantel said Jackie had hit her, and the whole room fell into complete silence. This was no longer a typical reality TV moment filled with jokes and noise. The playful energy vanished, replaced by a heavy seriousness that nobody could ignore. Jackie eventually spoke, but it was not a loud defense, only a quiet, trembling attempt to explain, "I never wanted it to happen that way." Chantel was not moved at all. Jackie did not argue, did not accuse her daughter of lying, and did not even raise her voice. She stayed focused, revealing just how long she had been carrying this inside. Then Chantel delivered a sharp blow that sent shockwaves through the room, asking, "Are you upset that I am no longer scared of you, or do you think I disrespected you?" The question hit Jackie hard, striking at the very core of her identity as the strong, unshakable mother figure she had always portrayed. It was a challenge that shattered the carefully constructed image she had so diligently maintained. The table fell into a heavy silence, the weight of Chantel's words sinking in as the tension increased. Slowly, the others began to react, the air thick with unspoken thoughts and emotion. Evelyn, who had been waiting for this moment, leaned back in her seat with a knowing smirk. She seemed almost pleased, as if everything had unfolded just as she had anticipated. In Evelyn's eyes, this was the culmination of her suspicions. Jackie's ironclad matriarch image was nothing more than an illusion. To her, this moment was proof that Jackie wasn't as untouchable as she had always claimed to be. The dynamics had shifted, and Evelyn was relishing the unraveling of Jackie's facade. Instead of maintaining her usual composure, Jackie's struggle was becoming increasingly obvious, and it didn't go unnoticed by anyone around the table. Her usual calm and confident demeanor was slipping away, and the tension in the room seemed to press down harder on her. As she tried to steady herself, it was clear she was losing control over the situation. Her eyes darted around the table, silently pleading for the drama to stop, but it only seemed to escalate with every passing moment. Jackie's hands trembled slightly, betraying the emotional storm she was trying so hard to keep hidden. Her face, usually a mask of strength, now carried the weight of frustration and defeat. The other women, all watching her, could feel the eyes shift. Jackie wasn't the powerful force she often appeared to be. Instead, she was becoming vulnerable, and it was hard for her to bear the harsh criticisms being hurled her way. Meanwhile, Evelyn, who had never been shy about fueling the fire, leaned deeper into the chaos. She was enjoying the spectacle, almost relishing the discomfort Jackie was experiencing. Evelyn's eyes sparkled with a sense of triumph, as if she were watching everything unfold exactly as she had hoped. Her body language was relaxed, leaning back in her seat, while her words were sharp and pointed, like a dagger to an already wounded heart. She couldn't help but throw in another cutting remark, one that seemed designed to draw blood. The tension in the air grew thicker, and Evelyn seemed to delight in watching the others squirm, particularly Jackie, who was visibly falling apart in front of everyone. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Jennifer shifted in her seat, her discomfort clear. She had been watching Jackie with a softened expression, her face showing genuine concern. Jennifer's eyes, usually sharp and observant, now held a softness, a sense of empathy toward Jackie that was impossible to miss. It was clear that Jennifer wasn't just watching the drama unfold, she genuinely cared about Chantel and could feel the weight of the painful family dynamics. However, that brief moment of sympathy evaporated quickly when Evelyn threw out yet another harsh comment, one designed to provoke and challenge. Jennifer's face hardened, and what had been concern quickly shifted to a simmering frustration. It was as though Evelyn's words had broken the fragile connection of empathy Jennifer had felt, turning the moment from one of shared human emotion into another battleground of insults and accusations. Jennifer responded with a sharp, meaningful look, silently warning Evelyn that this was not the right moment for more cruelty. Without saying a word, her expression clearly pleaded, "Not now, this is serious."
Be anybody you want me to be. You want me to be in a scary movie? You want me to play a girl screaming and scream? Ah! I can do all of that. I need to put on a gun belt. I want to go down the dark alleys. I want to jump over the fence. I want to hurt myself in these movies.
You want to do your own stuff?
I want to have sex in the movies, not real sex, but I want to look like I am.
Okay.
While all of this was unfolding, Brittany and Ty, who were not as deeply tied to the core group, watched the chaos with fresh eyes, quietly wondering if this fight marked the final break between Jackie and her daughter. Brittany leaned in to whisper something to Ty, who, being a little more observant, noted that this felt like a permanent crack, not just another heated argument. Though they stayed neutral, their body language gave them away. They both realized they were witnessing a bond fall apart, and no one could guess if it could ever be repaired. As the table turned into a war zone of emotions, Jackie did something that caught everyone off guard. Without a word, she stood up, her hands slightly shaking, her eyes glossy with emotion. She did not argue, did not try to defend herself, and did not ask Chantel to stop. She simply pushed her chair back and started walking away. Chantel quickly shot back. "Of course you are leaving, because that is what you always do." Her words cut deep, and Jackie clearly felt every bit of it. Without looking back, she walked straight out the door. But as the door shut behind her, a new conversation was sparked at the table. One Chantel was not ready to let go of. With all eyes now on her, Chantel finally let down her walls, and for the first time that night, she looked down, took a deep breath, and prepared to speak from a more vulnerable place. Chantel's next words were filled with deep sadness, not anger. She said, "It's not just about the fight, it's everything. As a child, I never felt loved or accepted. I was always under pressure to prove myself to her." For the first time that evening, Evelyn didn't interrupt the heavy silence that filled the room. Chantel continued, her voice trembling, revealing how, despite all her efforts, she had never felt good enough for her mother. She confessed, "I'm not even sure if I want to fix this after everything that's happened, especially seeing it all unfold on TV." The pain was evident as she spoke. "I've been hurt too many times, and I don't know if it's worth trying again. No more shouting, no more accusations, just a daughter sharing the raw truth about the emotional wounds that may never heal." Jennifer blinked rapidly, trying to hold back tears. Brittany gently rubbed her arm, and Ty leaned forward, silently, acknowledging Chantel's words with a nod that said, "I understand." For once, the cameras were not capturing just another dramatic scene. They were documenting real, painful family struggles, as Chantel wrestled with whether to keep trying to repair her relationship with her mother. Just when it seemed the storm had passed, another wave of tension hit. Evelyn, ever the provocateur, stirred the pot once more, but this time, her target was Jennifer. At first, her comment seemed harmless, but then she said, "Everyone's talking about Jackie, but maybe some of us should be looking at the mess in our own homes." Though Evelyn never said Jennifer's name directly, it was crystal clear who she was addressing. All season, the tension between them had been bubbling under the surface, and now it was spilling over. Jennifer didn't hold back, snapping, "Don't bring my husband into this," her tone sharp yet controlled. Evelyn, however, leaned in, unflinching, and dropped a bombshell. "Your husband isn't as perfect as you think," she said. "Maybe you should stop focusing on Jackie and take a good look at your own shaky situation instead." The room's energy shifted instantly. Jennifer, clearly angry, stood up, reprimanding Evelyn for using others' pain as a way to deflect. She accused Evelyn of being messy and always shifting the focus onto someone else. Evelyn shot back. "Oh, not done yet? Are you going to run away like Jackie did? Go ahead, feel free to leave." The insult hit hard. It was not only a direct jab at Jennifer, but also a cruel dig at Jackie, who had just walked out in tears. There was a brief, tense pause, as Jennifer weighed whether to walk out or stay calm. In the end, she chose to stay, her voice quiet but full of fire. "Say whatever you want," she said, "but at least I don't need to tear others down to make myself feel better." Brittany and Ty exchanged another glance, witnessing the scene unravel like a train wreck in real time. While the others stayed quiet, Evelyn sipped her drink, rolling her eyes, trying to mask the tension, but even she knew she had pushed too far. Another woman had been driven to her breaking point. In a candid confessional, Jackie finally opened up about the night's events. She admitted that things hadn't gone as she had hoped. "I never realized she felt that way until I heard her say those words," Jackie shared, reflecting on her assumption that sending Chantel away would help them heal. "I mishandled it. Of course, I regret it." Her voice softened with the weight of regret as she continued, "No mother ever wants to hear their child feels unloved." When asked if she had any regrets, Jackie responded, "I didn't want to hurt her. I was just overwhelmed, and now I'm not sure how to fix this." In Y4, her own confessional, Chantel appeared more composed, but there was a visible heaviness in her eyes. She wasn't simply angry. She was exhausted. "I'm not hostile toward my mom," she explained. "I just don't know if I can ever trust her again." She admitted that she had hoped they could work things out when the conversation started, but now she wasn't sure there was anything left to repair. She spoke about how Jackie's sudden departure without any explanation cut deeper than words could express. "I needed her to fight for me, not just leave." After that, the cast fell silent, each person clearly, emotionally, drained and unsure of what would happen next. This wasn't just a dramatic plotline anymore. It was a fragile fragile, real, mother-daughter bond laid bare for everyone to witness, with emotions far beyond any scripted conflict. As the credits rolled, one thing was clear. What we witnessed wasn't just TV drama. It was the painful unraveling of a mother-daughter relationship on the brink of collapse. Let's take a closer look at the pivotal moments of the evening, starting with Jackie's attempts to keep the peace, which only seemed to make things worse. When Shantel walked in, she spoke her truth, shaking up the room and turning the atmosphere completely. After tensions flared with Evelyn and Jennifer, Jackie quietly left, perhaps for good. But the story doesn't end there. Was Jackie out of line as a mother, or was she right in her actions? Can something this intense ever be repaired? And did Shantel have the right to confront her mother in front of everyone? I'd love to hear your thought. Don't forget to subscribe because the story is far from over. Just wait until the reunion. Things are bound to get even more heated.